All right. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Paul, and today we're doing another agent interview. My guest today is Cherilyn, aka Chevy Mitchell. How are you, Cherilyn?
I am fantastic today, Paul. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Thank you for asking. I'm glad that we were able to sit down and make time for this today.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem at all. I just have a couple questions for you, and we're going to basically talk about yourself, your real estate career, more specifically your experience with 54 Realty as a brokerage.
Okay.
So we can get started here. So for the people out there, Cherilyn, who don't know about your background, I actually don't know about your background so much either. Would you mind telling us a little bit about how you got your start in the real estate world?
Sure, absolutely. So I actually worked in accounting for the last 15 or so years. I've always had an interest in real estate, and when I still lived in Alaska, my real estate agent up there constantly told me that I should just get into real estate because I would go to a showing appointment with her and know more about the property before we got there than she did, because I was just interested in looking all that stuff up. So when I moved to Florida 2 years ago, I took just a regular accounting job because really I just needed a job at the time and had bills to pay. And after a year and after COVID and everything else, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do what I want to do. So I left my job and got my license. I originally started with a smaller brokerage, but they didn't provide leads or have all the resources that I needed as a new agent and as somebody new to the area. So I started doing some research and interviewed a couple different brokerages, but ended up landing on 54 because of all the different things that they provided besides just leads, but the stuff that they provided to us as far as learning and training and technology to use to make sure that we're all successful.
Absolutely. So you made a point there that I've heard other agents say, and I didn't really know how common this was until I started doing these interviews, but as an agent, how important do you think it is to actually go out to the offices and interview these brokerages?
I think it's huge. When I first started, you don't know what you don't know. And so a friend of a friend had introduced me to this other brokerage that I started with, and I didn't know what I didn't know. So they were really nice people. They were great to work with and talk with, but there was everything was either a Zoom call or a phone call, which is fine, but there was just no way for me to learn. I didn't have any sphere of influence. I didn't have any deals. I didn't have any leads. So going out and actually meeting up with Joe at 54 in the office to interview with him and have something tangible to talk to him about and sit in front of a person was really kind of what got me with 54. And the other side of it was that 54 is very family oriented, which to me is a big deal.
This is true. I was just talking to Brian, and it feels like we all are one big, not dysfunctional, but exciting at times
Slightly
family.
dysfunctional.
Yeah, but in a good way.
Yes.
So you made another point there, Cherilyn. For the people out there that don't know, I might have touched on this in an earlier interview, but we actually have two divisions of agents here. It's the leads division, which is where you are, and then the independent division. What would you say are some of the things that are provided to like the leads division agents that benefit you as a newer agent, like you were saying?
So with the leads division, which that was a huge selling point for me, is that we have a lot of leads coming in and there was always going to be a steady flow of leads. So as someone that obviously didn't have leads and have a sphere of influence, that was a big deal. But with the leads division, there's a lot of different trainings offered. Contracts, there's our monthly training that we do for the whole office and whoever wants to go, but there's constantly just different trainings popping up that you guys email out to us. As far as leads go, there are an abundance of leads. I mean, I'm sure, I don't know how much you guys see it, but they come through constantly.
Yeah.
So there's never a shortage of leads, and there's always somebody willing to help, whether it's your team lead or someone else. I was actually in the office the other day and a newer agent called. All the team leads were in a meeting, and so Katie had her call me to show her how to do something she needed to do on the MLS. So, you're not just thrown out to the wolves. You get all these leads and you can pick them up, but anybody is willing to help you at any point in time.
Absolutely. And another theme I'm starting to uncover here is the importance of mentorship. So I'm not sure, who's your team leader, Cherilyn?
I am on Debbie Jenkins' team.
Debbie Jenkins. She's like the silent majority, I think, of the team leaders. You don't hear a lot from her, but she's a killer, man. So how important do you think, Cherilyn, both as a new agent and being new to the brokerage itself, how important do you think it is to have a mentor?
It's incredibly important. I felt like even after I got all the training on all the different programs we use, app files, and at the time we were using Discord, not Slack, and all the other programs, you're still just kind of like, okay, now what do I do? Debbie was great. We met up when I had to write my very first contract. She sat there and walked me through every single step of writing a contract. And then from there, it was, okay, let me know what you need help and when you need help on them. And so I picked it up pretty quickly, which was good for me, but she was very easy to get a hold of, easy to talk to at any point. No question was a stupid question at that point. And every contract I wrote until she felt I had the hang of it, she reviewed every single one and would call me and say, okay, here's the things that I see you missed, or things that, maybe you should change it to this for this reason, and gave a lot of guidance in helping write contracts and getting deals closed.
Absolutely. So shout out to Debbie Jenkins if you're listening.
Yeah, shout out to Debbie.
Now, speaking of generating business, Cherilyn, because I don't know, what your numbers or anything were like at previous brokerages, but how do you feel being at 54 has provided you the ability to grow your business, or have you kind of seen an uptick? Do you speak to that at all?
So I didn't have any deals before I moved to 54. So I'm already batting 1,000 over here. But with that said, 54 has done a lot for me in my business. I've had 2 or 3 deals that were sphere of influence, their family. So that was kind of a given for me. But outside of that, every deal I have has been a lead, and I have closed way more in the short 6-7 months that I've been with 54 than I expected to. And I personally have surpassed what I set as my goal for income for the year already. So as of right now, everything is above and beyond, and I'm happy as a clam.
That's amazing. So I usually say this kind of thing up at the top, but for people that don't know, that aren't from the brokerage, Cherilyn, like she said, has only been here 6 or 7 months, and she's constantly like pushing up to the top of our leaderboards. And I think that's really impressive, especially for someone coming from not only out of state, but also new to the career and new to the brokerage and that sort of thing. So a shout out to you as well, Cherilyn.
Thanks.
Now, we touched on a few different things here in the past couple of minutes, but if you could speak to like one particular resource that we have at the brokerage, whether it be technology or a type of person or whatever it might be, you think there's one thing that might have helped you more than others as far as succeeding in real estate?
Honestly, I would say, I don't want to say it's a type of personality, but I guess it is, in a sense that everybody at the brokerage is willing to help you out with anything. I mean, this, I try and make it up to the office at least once a week. And I stop in, I say hi to everybody, and everybody's always willing to say hi, no matter how busy we all are, but everybody's always willing to help too. So you've got your team leads always willing to help you. You've got your other agents always willing to help you. Like, yeah, we're all sort of in competition with each other, right? Because it's dog eat dog out there. It's your own personal business. But people are always still willing to help you and stop what they're doing to answer a question. The APs in the back are a wealth of knowledge when it comes to using some of the technology that we have, like Follow Up Boss. So I would say a personality, I guess, but it's not really a personality. It's more just our culture in the office as a whole.
Fun little noise there.
Sorry, I tried to mute it, but
no worries. No, so I think you make a great point there, Cherilyn, because sometimes people will talk specifically about like a system or training, etc. But I really think it is just a pervading culture that really benefits the agents, but also the office staff. We all kind of feel like we're working towards the same goals. And
right.
I think that helps you not only increase business and do well in your career, but just get along well with your peers and, not be miserable coming to work, that sort of thing.
Right.
It's important.
I've been there
it's
before.
important.
I've been there before.
Yeah.
So.
Likewise. Now, I hate to sort of ask this similar question again, but if you had a favorite thing about 54 Realty, would you say it would be the culture, or is there something else perhaps?
I mean, outside of it's still a work environment, right? Like we still have to be professionals, but yeah, I would definitely say the culture. I have worked in corporate America, and I have obviously worked a job that I found to be miserable after 15 years. But I think culture, no matter where you go, makes a huge difference. Because if it's miserable to go into the office every day, and I only go in once a week, I can't imagine any of you guys would stay either. Culture is a big deal. agents are always willing to get together, after our monthly trainings. Sometimes some of us will go have lunch. We're putting together, Arlena is putting together a mixer for the whole office next week. So I think there's just a lot going on that our culture makes it a lot of fun. And, people are always joking around with each other, having a good time. So it definitely helps.
I totally agree. Well, Cherilyn, I didn't have many more questions for you. Actually, I just have one left here, and this is how we generally close these testimonials. If you could speak to maybe someone that moved out of state like yourself, or perhaps just a newer agent who's looking for a new brokerage, they're not really sure where to go, what would you say to them? What would your advice be?
I would tell them, obviously, especially as a new agent, like I said at the beginning, you don't know what you don't know. So do your research on brokerages. When I was looking for a new brokerage, I actually went through the MLS on closed and pending transactions to find which brokerages were doing a lot of business in my immediate area. I got referred to 54 by somebody else because I would have never looked in that area because I'm in Brandon Riverview and the office is obviously up further north. But ask a lot of questions. Ask if the brokerage provides leads and what kind of technologies they provide to you, what your commission cut is going to be, what those technologies are going to cost you on a monthly basis. Just ask a lot of questions, and the more brokerages you interview, the more you will learn. But the biggest thing is going to be how many leads you get provided, and kind of what your cut is and where it goes with that. We're fortunate that we have a lot of leads to keep everybody busy.
That is true. And I know you were saying, I don't know if we see it, but I have, the admin access or whatever on Slack. So I see the leads channel, and man, it's just blowing up every single day. So
that's what's been blowing up this entire video call is my Slack turned on. Sorry.
There you go. There could not be a truer testament to how many leads we have than that.
Constantly coming through.
So new agents or seasoned agents, if you're listening, please come help us. Come take some leads.
Somebody come take a lead.
Awesome. Well, Cherilyn, this was great. Thank you so much for making the time to sit down with me today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. And I will see you around the office, I'm sure.
Sounds good. Have fun in Arizona.
You know it will. Take care.
Bye-bye.